Hello, everybody. Welcome to HobbyPlex After Hours. I think I'm going to move the camera up just a tick. It's probably better. I've actually been looking at a new camera, so we'll see when I'm able to get that going. So I practiced on Tuesday a little bit with this guy, and my front steering acronym actually came off, and unfortunately, I lost a couple parts. I actually hope that I have the bearing for it, because that would suck, because then I would not be able to get anything done. So I wanted to show you guys something, though. I got this really cool tool. This is not sponsorship or anything like that. It's not even really an endorsement. It's more of just check out what I got. So I kind of went through my tools and got rid of a whole bunch of redundant bits and pieces and stuff. And the HobbyPlex is carrying these now, and it's an RJX Hobby, and it's a 13-in-1 bit wrench, right? And so it's got a little clamp thing here, and it has 13 of these bits that you can also use in your drill, which I won't be using tonight because the battery's dead, and I forgot to get a battery again. I told myself last night, hey, you need to get a battery and or get your battery charged, and then I forgot. So kind of lame, but yeah, it's 2.5, 1.5, 2.0, but it also has, what I thought was really cool is it has these Phillips heads, and since I'm building some Tamiya stuff, thought it'd be useful. There's actually two different Phillips heads in here, and there's actually two different flatheads as well, which I thought was pretty neat. And then of course you get your nut drivers too, and they're kind of golden color, which is interesting. So it's $54.99 for this guy, and so if you like using the drill, and then I like to hand tighten a lot of stuff, so that's why I got this one. And I just put back what I needed. So hopefully, gosh, I didn't even think about that bearing today when I was grabbing parts. Hopefully I've got a bearing on me if I lost it. How long should I trust my 2S life pack on my airplane? Huh. Like, Jack, is that life as in lifespan of the battery, or like runtime? Because runtime, I got no idea. 4,000 seems like a lot, but lifespan, I think as long as it's as long as you've been taking care of it and keeping it balanced, it should last, I would think. Shoot, I mean, it probably a couple of years at least. Especially a life cell, they're way less volatile than a lipo. Yeah, I know what you meant. I know what a life is. L-I-F-E. Yeah, I think as long as you've taken care of it, you should get at least a couple years out of it. Jackson says that he's getting his revenge on Friday. Well, that's why I'm trying to get this this working. Yes, dude. So Lance Murray just said that he thinks that our toolboxes might have been discontinued from Plano, and I agree. I've not been able to find them. Menards usually carried them, and I've been going to Menards every Monday on my day off, and no Plano boxes. I'm kind of pissed. So I only have 3 of them, and yeah, I might be rearranging some stuff because I need to get all my Tekno parts in a bin. I was really hoping to pick up another one of these, so or find some sort of actual replacement. Maybe they just changed the color. Maybe they're going to come out with something different. Yeah, I even stopped by Shields the other day. Nothing. I couldn't find anything. I was really butthurt. Sorry. These are kind of a hit with all the racers. These toolboxes here. So what's really nice about them is that you have your bottom here for all your tools, and then you have this top part for all of your easily accessible parts. And then I've got a couple more of these that I have all my other parts in. So I keep like one bin has most of my electronics in it. Another bin has most of my associated B6 parts all together with it. I wanted to get another one as like a Tekno box for all my Tekno parts, and I have yet to find one of these. So for sale, it might be just a pandemic thing, like you know, maybe one of the what's the word? I had a really long day today. Casualties of the pandemic, where it's just one of those things that they're not quite making. Aha! What'd I miss? Peter, that's a good. So normally when you're setting the slipper, you kind of need your wheels on the ground. So you're having it sit there, and you kind of need your wheels to be almost so they don't move, so that you can actually tighten your slipper. So yeah, they shouldn't be up off the ground. They should be on the ground. And then with the truck, you kind of can't really do the lift thing unless you're running mod, I guess. But your wheels should be on the ground. Yeah. Farm and Fleet. Yeah, they're $10. That's about right. We don't have Farm and Fleet here, but Chad Daniels, the comedian, actually has a whole bit about Farm and Fleet in one of his bits. It's like a Minnesota, Wisconsin thing. I wonder if maybe Tractor Supply. I'd never even thought about checking Tractor Supply. Maybe they got them. It's a good idea. Jackson, we have 8 B6 3Ds on back order and 1 carpet car on back order, and I do not need to back order a B3. Hopefully, so if you've watched this channel at all and are kind of new to it, I do have a playlist that's only got a couple videos in it of kit builds, and I'm going to be adding quite a bit more to that. I'm actually in the middle of doing an enduro kit, which I know is about a year late, but 2 years late, whatever. But I'm actually building a brand new crawler, and I figured why waste the opportunity? So I'm making a video about it, and then we'll be doing a B6 3D video, and I'm going to be building this Nitro Tekno kit here pretty soon as well. So I'm doing a lot of building right now. And I'm going to be doing the J Concepts regulator chassis on a Clodbuster here pretty soon too. So there's a lot of build videos coming up. Now that I've finally gotten some good editing knowledge too, I'm just trying to make better videos. So we'll see what I can do. Let's see. I need to. Gosh, I hope I didn't lose that bearing. That's gonna really suck if I did. Oh, dang it! What size is that? Cole Webb, you're asking, looking to build your first kit. How hard is it to build one like a B61? I don't think it's hard at all. I think what you're going to run into is just having never done it before. You're going to have to take your time and make sure that you are not missing anything when it comes to like the steps and all that. I think that's one of the biggest mistakes people make is Associated lays it out for you really well. All you really got to do is follow the instructions step by step. I see too many people opening up bags early, not following it step by step. I think that creates kind of a problem for new people that are doing it. So just take your time. That's all you got to do. Other than that, Associated and Losi make it really easy to follow. Let's see. Palmer Bartlett, what's up? What is the best beginning buggy? So I actually think that if you don't want to do any work, that new Losi 5.0 roller that's out now is a really good buy. It's a built car. All you got to do is put your electronics into it. The only drawback, I think, is that I'm pretty sure it comes with a gear diff. So I would purchase a ball diff for it. I think Losi sells them a complete ball diff for like $40. And that is one heck of a deal because then you don't have to build anything like one of the Webb brothers is going to do, Cole. Other than that, I've always had the thing where you can't really go wrong. Where you can't really go wrong with either Losi or Associated. They're the most common parts found at any hobby store. They both have refined their instructions. Their out of the box setups are really good, so you don't have to sit there and fiddle with setups for hours if you don't want to. That's probably the easiest way to do it. Haha, Lance is on it, man. He's like, they're out of stock. So this weekend was the first time I raced the 2.0 here. And I think I practiced twice Friday night, and I had a lot of stuff going on because I had to get all the giveaways, all the door prizes organized, get the plaques put out, get the cars brought out, and then take entries and stuff like that. So the finals for me for the Tekno series, not the best time for me to race, but I decided to go ahead and give it a go. I figured out pretty quickly that I had this servo saver set way too loose. And so my brand new car handled amazing, but it pushed a little bit. And I think it pushed because this wasn't tight enough. So on Tuesday, I got in here and I tightened down on this baby, and I went back out there and the car was a lot better. And so I'm pretty sure that not having this tightened down all the way was a big boo-boo on my part. The car was a lot more forgiving, turned better. I could kind of drive it harder than what I was doing Saturday. And then I also didn't change a thing on the car, but I did this brand new speed controller, not used to it at all. I had to go in and really kind of fiddle around with the brakes. I messed with some drag brake settings. I started cranking it up, decided I didn't like that, went back to 0, actually cranked the brakes up from 50% to 65 and then 75. And then I actually went to 100%, but I put the coast feature on Hobby Wing. I moved it up to, I think, 10. And that made a huge difference on this car. I was blowing corners all over the place. And when I gave myself 100% brake and then used the coast function in there, it kind of acts like a drag brake, but not really. I was able to drive a lot harder, a lot faster, and a lot smoother. So I am pretty happy so far. I just got to get it fixed now. Palmer, you can make that Slash drive pretty well. I'm always a big fan of Traxxas Slash two-wheel drives. In fact, I might as well mention it now. I think we're going to try to bring back the stock Slash class once again for some summer racing on the off weeks of the summer series. So we're going to have our main team associated summer series, and then we're going to have the Saturday truck series where it's going to be all trucks one Saturday a month for 5 months in the summertime, and it should be a lot of fun. Yeah, dude. So I've been trying to get. I was actually thinking that I've been trying to get us to like buy these boxes either direct or from maybe even Menards, and then use our 11% rebate to actually sell these boxes, because that's where we were able to get them from. And then because they haven't been available, that idea kind of went out of the wayside. I'll have to maybe I can message Jamie and see if maybe I can buy some of those if they got them in stock up there at Trackside. What's the best Nitro monster truck? Kind of depends on what you're doing, man. If you're going to drive it on a track at all, then the Losi 8 ready to run Nitro Truggy is the best Nitro truck. If you're just going to bash anywhere, go to the BMX track or just a hilly area or just construction area or anything like that, I would say probably a T-Max or Revo. And honestly, that's about all there is that's left. All the other Nitro trucks out there that I can think of are garbage. Don't waste your time. So I would say Traxxas Revo or T-Max, or that Losi 8 Truggy if you want to go on the track somewhere. You could also look, if you're looking for track type monster trucks, you could try maybe like a ready to run. I think Kyosho still makes a ready to run Truggy. But for Nitro, you're kind of limited, man. There's not a whole lot out there like there was 10, 15 years ago. Yeah, let's come. So I've always ran the servo, the little spring servo saver in an 8 scale. I never even thought about putting it direct. I've got a pretty strong servo in here, but I'd still be afraid of breaking it. You're kind of always afraid of breaking it, whether it be Nitro or electric 8 scale. Servos are just one of those things you kind of know at some point you're going to bust. So yeah, I definitely opted for the spring, the servo saver. Darn it. DC wants to know, what are the main brands for 1/8 scale competition buggies? There's actually quite a few of them. So the cool thing about 8 scale is it's a very what's the word? Well, there's lots of manufacturers that are actually good. So of course you got Tekno, you got Losi. Let's see, Tekno, Losi, Associated, Mugen, X-Ray, a Gamma. What else is out there? HB, Hot Bodies. They make good stuff. Actually, before I got approached to run Tekno, I actually thought about running an HB car just because nobody else around here does it other than Chris Morant. So I was looking at it, but kind of glad I went the direction I went. What else is there? Who am I missing? Who am I going to piss off if I don't mention it? Trying to see if I'm brain blocked. Those are the big ones, right? Oh, JQ. Can't leave that car out. Actually, that car, he's refined it a lot. Got it handling really good. Gosh. I think that about covers it. I think, right? I'm always going to leave somebody out, so. What's a good company to get sponsors with as being a beginner? If you have to ask, then it's not right for you yet. I'm a very I'm very adamant that people should just race RC cars for the fun of it until they start winning a level where you shouldn't have to ask. So I think I did say Kyosho, Mason. Oh, did I not? I might not have. I thought I did. You can't leave out Kyosho. There's a company out there called Infinity. I've never actually seen one of their race scales, but they have paid drivers. So, yeah. Yeah. So I have a bearing box around here somewhere, and I don't know. Here it is. I knew it was here somewhere. Gosh, I hope I have one. I'm going to be really upset at myself if I lost it. It didn't even occur to me to look, because then it's going to be pointless to do what I'm doing. The Tamiya race is next weekend. Yeah, next weekend. And I was going to run my Tamiya car and see if I can get it figured out some more. And on Wednesday. And we were so busy that I just sort of said, nah, I'm going to go home. So I'm already another practice day behind. But I am going to race GT2. That's another video that I'm going to be doing. I'm hoping that I don't like. I don't know. I don't know if there's something to be said of like making too many YouTube videos every week. But this last couple of weeks have just been, actually this last like month and a half has just been so just busy with stuff that hopefully I'm not boring everybody with everything. It's a 4x7? Really? It doesn't look like a 4x7. Four by 7. I probably don't have one. Family Friday tomorrow night. Doors open at 4. We start racing at 7. And hopefully we got a 4x7 bearing at the store so that I can get this thing fixed, because I'm stupid and I didn't get one. So once again, I am super prepared for HobbyPlex After Hours. There was one up here. DC's got a Jerix Pro at home. That caught my attention right away. Peter Renault got himself an 85 Grasshopper with 2 original bodies. That's pretty awesome. Kyosho 1/10 Buggy, any good on clay? I mean, no. There goes any Kyosho sponsorship for the show, but stay away, man. That car's got to be like 6 years old now. What else are we doing? Is there going to be Plex Spec tomorrow night? Absolutely. We had 49 Plex Spec beginners the other night. Let's go for 50. Let's see what happens with 50 of them. Here's my JRX Pro. One of my favorites. Actually, this was my my first good race car. So I've had this Tamiya car here, this Falcon. My mom broke down and finally bought me one of these in when was it? 1988, I think. 4th grade. And then we were moving to Kansas, and there's a track there, and I wanted to race really bad. And I talked my mom into taking me to the hobby store down there in Topeka. I think it was called S&K Hobbies, maybe. And we brought a JRX Pro, built it, and then I had to wait till Christmas to get all the electronics, but I ended up with one of these bad boys. I wish this was my original one, but it's not. But it's close enough, so. Don't have a JRX 2. I keep stumbling into JRX 2s that nobody wants to sell me. So what I miss. Good keep. So at the HobbyPlex, we actually have I've ordered these Duratrax tires, and they're $26.99 a pair, I think. And I ordered them for people who want to get better tires for their slash, but don't want to glue their own tires, and also don't want to spend $40 on a pair of tires. So we have those at the Plex. Let's see. Big dude, when are you all doing the Kyosho phaser? So the phaser's just kind of a... Kyosho's been putting these really cool, very detailed bodies on their on that chassis, but the car itself, I wouldn't classify it in any way as a raceable kind of car. It's more of like what the Vitara. I don't know if you guys remember the Vitara 4-wheel drive on-road chassis they had out that had the squad car and a couple C10s. What else was there? I think there was a Camaro of some sort. I mean, that thing really wasn't meant for a track either. It was just meant to put cool bodies on it, and then people come in and buy it. That's kind of where that's at. I wouldn't classify it as a race car at all. It'd probably be, I mean, you could probably get away with it. The problem is that on road, there's no beginner class. The closest thing we have is a TTO2 spec chassis thing that we do at the Plex. So most other on-road tracks, they don't even have a beginner class. So you'd be lumped in with people running, X-rays and stuff like that versus that car, and they'd be very outclassed. So was that the most Tekno? Yes, dude. So that is the most. We had 36 mini truggies, and I didn't race, so I would have been 37. So I thought that was pretty awesome. I was pretty happy about that. Yeah, see, we tried the Duratrax tires on a Rustler, and they work awesome. So I hope that continues. That's kind of, because then we could have mod 2-wheel drive truck. We could do both short course classes, Pro 2, Pro 4, mini truggy, a slash spec. It's kind of what I'm thinking. Yeah, Rod, that's what happens when Horizon Hobby buys Proline. You're not going to see pre-mounts for an associated car. Or if you do, it'll come well after the Losi pre-mounts are out. So wah. That's just the way it goes. Maybe that is a 4x7. Could have swore I had some of those. Where did I have those things at? I don't want to put dead air on here, but I could have swore that I had some 4x7 bearings somewhere. To look. John, that's a good question. What we've done in the past is no. But I might amend my rules for that just to get more trucks to actually come out and play. We might just call it, like, instead of /spec, like just /. I don't know. It's one of those things where, like, people want to buy cool stuff for their trucks, but maybe it'll be like one of those things where we only allow Traxxas hop-ups only. Or maybe I'll have like a list of hop-ups. But the LCG chassis is a pretty vast improvement. So Team Associated B74 would run in either 13.5 four-wheel drive with a 13.5 motor, or open mod, baby. Unfortunately, open mod, you got to run against guys like Tom Rinderknecht and Alex Vanderbeek and Mason Fuller and locally. And at least 13.5 is what we call stock four-wheel drive, even though it's a faster motor. But it's a lot more controllable. And it's still pretty fun because most of the time a decent B74 with a decent driver behind it can do about the same pace as mod two-wheel. So you're still going pretty fast. What do I clean my tires with before gluing? I would say Simple Green there, Peter. Brake cleaner, I use it as a last resort, like if I have nothing left. But Simple Green pretty much works the best. The only thing about Simple Green, though, is it's got to be totally dry. If it's still a little tiny wet when you're gluing the tire, then your glue gets really stringy all of a sudden in that spot. It gets this like really weird film to it, and it doesn't actually adhere. So when you use Simple Green, you got to make sure that you're drying the bead off completely. So I don't have an EB410. Not yet. I got to get Emerson's Nitro cars built, man. So I still got to build this car. I got to buy an engine for it. I got to buy a pipe for it. I got to buy a starter box. Servos. I mean, sucks. Like, I've been saving, but you know, it's going to take a little time. Hopefully we have it ready. Our first race we want to go is May 8th. So hopefully I have it ready by then. Yeah, that could be fun. Use the dirt oval as like a Joker lane almost. I could see that. I could definitely see that. Trying to think where else I might have bearings at. Pretty bummed out that I was kind of hoping that it would just like that it would have just dropped right in the chassis somewhere, and I would have been like, "Oh, look at that! There it is." But nope, dumb. Might have to stay broken for a little while longer. I actually was told to flip this Ackerman plate around anyway, so I mean, gonna have to do it. Cole, yeah, we'd probably let you do that. You're supposed to be running a 2S anyways, so if you want to race in the stadium truck class, that'd be fine. Yeah, I don't know, Rod. I was trying to think where we got a 4x7 bearing. It's such a weird size. At least it's not like the associated steering rack size, which is like a 3x7 or something like that. That's like really hard to find. Oh, the shoplifter. You know what? I forgot to bring that up on the podcast this week, but I'm, I definitely wanted to talk about it. It's just that we had Chad Parks on, Jesus. And, so I forgot. Yeah. What a dumbass. Like, who do, I don't know. I'm actually surprised that they didn't know that they were caught on camera, because when we post that stuff to Facebook. So what happened was, I think back in November, maybe, one of our younger kids, came in and, or one of our younger kids was helping a guy with a $500 Castle Creations speed controller motor combo. It had just come out. It's a 8S capable. So it's like $479, I think, or something like that. And if you watch the video, we were really, really busy. And this is why we tell our guys, hey, you know, not that we don't trust anybody, but we don't trust anybody. So, you know, don't leave that stuff up on the counter unattended, right? And that's exactly what happened. And he got distracted because this other family needed help. So you can see him, you know, he was sitting there wrenching on these guys' cars. The guy takes the thing, he walks around the other side of the thing. And then as he's walking by, he's got it down here, and then he's got it here so nobody can see it. And we got the whole thing on video. And what happened was they came in as a team, they came in together, and the one guy was driving, the other guy wasn't. So the one guy, they talked for a little bit. You can see it all on video. Then the one guy left early, got the car started up, backed up, was ready for him to jump in and then take off. And we got all that on video. And so then we posted it on Facebook, even though it wasn't going to help because everybody has to wear masks. So you can't actually recognize anybody, right? Unless they wear the same clothes every day. So this tall, lanky dude that was the driver comes in the other day, and Cam immediately is like, hey, isn't that the guy? And I went over and I checked on him, and I'm looking, I'm like, is it? And so I went into my phone and I brought up the video that I've got stored on my phone, and I looked at it, and then I looked at the guy, and the guy was wearing almost the exact same clothes. He had his chain, the same gaiter, the exact same, like, because this is kind of a tall, lanky dude, right? And pants and everything. And so the guy was trying to buy some Radio Shack stuff, and he comes over to ask me a question, and I go, hey man, I'm like, isn't that you? And the guy's like, what? And I'm like, that is you. Look at the chain. That's exactly who you are. You're this guy. I'm like, oh my gosh, what are you doing here? Don't you know that you're like YouTube famous? I put your video on YouTube. Like you stole from us. Why are you back here? And so Cam, right, who's ready to throw down on anybody who steals from us, especially. But so he's standing near the door, and I'm looking over to him like, look at this guy. Why would this guy come back? And so the thing is because we didn't file a police report because honestly, the mask thing, right? There's no way we were actually going to get these guys the way that we have in the past because their faces were covered, man. So we didn't file a police report. So I have people telling me, why didn't you call the cops? Well, we could have called the cops. The problem is because we didn't file a police report initially, it's kind of a moot point. So I just tried to like I said on Facebook, it was it's not very often that I get to be a dick to a person and not have to worry about like a 1-star Google review, right? Because normally, even if I'm not being a dick to a person, but it comes across like I'm being a dick to a person, then they're immediately keyboard warriors and they go on either like 402 or Google or something like this, even though chances are they're probably just mad because we don't carry what they have, right? But in this case, I actually got to be like totally a total dickhead to this guy, and it was fine. Everything was fine. So, uh, so, um, so I walked him out. I said, dude, don't come back here. I'll have to charge you for trespassing or whatever. I'm like, don't ever come back. I'm like, we got you all on video. And the guy like turned around. He's like, well, I didn't steal it. And I'm like, everybody in the room, there's 4 of us. We all looked at him and go, dude, you were the driver, man. It's the same thing. And so I went out and I got his picture with his license plate number too, just for good measure. And yeah, that was fun. That's actually not the first time that a known thief has come back thinking that everything was cool. Yeah, Cam does MMA, dude. So one of the best times, this is story time now. How are we at 41 minutes? All right, so one of the best times that I've ever had working was, gosh, when was it? What are we in, 2021? So I think it was 2019 or something like that. And I remember it was December 21st. I remember that. It was like 7:30. We were actually kind of slow before Christmas for some reason. And this guy was acting really weird. And both Cam and I kind of had this thing where if we both feel weird about somebody, we'll kind of use eye contact a little bit to kind of like let each other know, like we were, pretend you're Cam. This is me. I'm like, and so, so this guy, we were watching him, he picked up $100 robotics kit. Okay. And I watched him and he was watching us. That's how you know he was trying to take something. And, so we watched him. Finally, he's eyeballing us the whole time. So he finally decides he's going to put it down because, we're watching him. So we're still watching him. He comes up to pay. He buys just a menagerie of stuff. And as he's paying me, he's shaking, right? And I'm like, why is this guy shaking? Like, is he still trying to steal something or whatever? And I couldn't really prove that he had anything else on him that wasn't paid for. And so I was just going to let him go out the door and just kind of make a mental note. Okay, if this guy comes back, watch him or whatever. But he asked me a question about airplanes. And I'm like, okay. I'm like, hey, man, yeah, why don't you come on over here? I'll show you. And at the Plex, there's only one way in or one way out, right? And so so he hesitates, right? And he asked me another question. He could have just went out the door, but instead he asked me another question about an airplane. And I said, no, I'll show you. It's right over here. So as he's walking by, I get to look down, and he's got kind of loose pants or whatever. And I can see that he's got a thing stuffed in his back pocket. And it's like a piece of clay. Like we sell molding clay, right? And so I go, hey, man, what's this? And I reach into his pocket and I pull out the clay. And the guy's like, oh, I don't know. And I'm like, and then he tries to like get away. And as I was talking to him, Cameron had basically gone to the door because he wasn't going to let this guy get away. And we didn't know if he had anything else on him. And so the guy gets away from me and he runs right into Cam. And it's a huge mismatch, right? Cam's this big, buff, sexy dude. And this guy is a scrawny, like he's like Bill Burr if Bill Burr had done meth for like 3 years, right? And so Cameron just picks him up and just whacks him on the ground, puts him in a rear naked choke, and starts putting him out, right? Just like, and the guy's, he's like, let me go, and he's like, I'll let you go if you stop squirming. And Cam just held on to him, and the guy like stopped and then started going again. So Cam like clinched even harder, and I think the guy was out for a little bit. But the best part was not the best part, but one of the worst parts about the whole thing was one of the things that the guy had actually bought was some packages of fart bombs. And so when he got picked up and body slammed, the fart bombs had actually broke. And so the whole place stunk like poo for the rest of the night. So the by morning it had faded, but most of the fart bombs had actually exploded. We actually thought the guy pooped his pants, but he didn't. And so anyway, so word of the wise, don't come to the Plex and steal stuff, because Cameron works every day, and if we catch you and you're still inside the building, you know, we might choke you out. I don't know. He might choke you out. I won't. I'm a big giant pansy. I'll just stand there and watch and film it. I'll be like, yeah. Yeah. All right. Anyways, Nate Will, I am gonna drive and try to win some ice cream on Saturday. So yeah, I'll be there with my mini truggy. I'm hoping we have at least a big heat. That'd be nice. It'd be even better with 2 heats. That'd be awesome. Steve, I'm glad I'm here to please. So while we're on this topic, because I always like this stuff, is the first time that I had ever caught anybody actually taking anything from Plex, and was way back in like 2005, right? So I knew that sort of thing can happen, and this was before we had anything blocked off either. But again, it was kind of late at night, and this story is crazy. So it was kind of late at night, and there was these kind of like basically like juvenile delinquents, right? And they were in the store, and I was watching them because I knew they were up to no good. Again, because the one kid was like eyeballing me the whole time, right? So I knew something was weird going on. So I went and I kind of hid behind a couple things, and I was kind of watching him, and I saw that this kid, this big kid, right, had taken he had taken some toys, right, just some toys, and he stuffed them in his pocket. And so I was like, oh man, it's on. I caught this dude, right? So I come out, and he's big. He's a big kid. And I grab his shoulder and I said, hey man, I'm like, come with me. And the kid's like, oh no. And so I'm like, you too, get over here. And the kid who was eyeballing me. So there's 3 of them. So I bring him back into the office, and I'm like, what's in here? And I'm being all dad face on him and stuff. And they're pulling out all these toys that they had taken from our toy aisle. And I'm like, I'm calling the cops, right? So 911, the kid's back there, and I thought they were gonna I'm surprised that they didn't try to run or anything, but they didn't. So anyways, so while I'm sitting there, and I'm like, how old are you, man? And the kid's like 13, and I'm like, no way, 13. And the kid was like a big kid for 13 years old. Like my son's 14. He's way bigger than my son. And I felt bad for him because he started crying, right? And he's like, please. And he started talking about how he had taken like a knife or something from Walmart. And he's like, please don't send me to juvie. I'm like, dude, why are you doing this? Why, if you got caught here, why are you doing that? And the kid couldn't really explain it. So anyways, so the sheriffs come, and I'm not even sure if they ended up giving these 2 kids a ticket, but the craziest thing happened, right? So they called their parents, right? And so the big kid's parents come, and it's this dad, and he's like you could tell he was just really disappointed, right? And so he's there to get his kid. The sheriffs are there. Then the little scrawny kid who made eye contact with me initially, then this kid's mom comes, okay? She's drunk, like totally drunk. And I'm sitting there and I've been like, oh my gosh. And I remember the officer saying, ma'am, how much have you had to drink tonight? And I remember her being like, well, I just came from the goddamn bar, get my stupid son who's decided to steal. And I'm like, oh my God, what the heck? And so this poor kid who is part of this stealing cabal that had been going on has to now have his mom get arrested for DWI because she had to come and get this kid from the store. So like the whole thing just went from like, yeah, we got one to like, oh, we got one and his life's terrible. Like it is the worst gut-wrenching feeling I've had dealing with that sort of thing since. Honestly, the rest of them, I could care less. But that poor kid, I felt bad. It was almost like now I could see maybe why this young person was lashing out in a way, you know? So that was rough. That was a rough day. Kind of funny, but at the same time, kind of sad. So anyway, so that was 10 minutes. Wah, wah. I'm still looking at a car with no 4x7 bearing, so we're getting real far tonight, folks. What did I miss? Yes, Saturday is a regular race day on the dirt. Dude, as you mentioned that, last night I actually did try to find Bad Taste and watch it. And it's not on any of my streaming services. So I will continue my quest. I might just have to like kind of illegally watch it, I guess. I did try. I was up. Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking. It's weird because like if you put it in the title in the Netflix, it gives you like not the movie, but it gives you like kind of the same genre of movies. So at least I'm probably not the first person that's ever tried to search for it. Yeah, dude, that's what happened on my car. My steering rack. That's what I was going to fix tonight. I lost my little steering rack screw. So, darn it. Yeah. Cold Web says, "Who knew these stories happened at the HobbyPlex?" Well, let me tell you, folks. There's a reason why our store is set up the way it is. The final straw was we had a dude come in and just I knew he was going to take something too, so I was watching him. And this was when Ron worked there. And Cole, you have no idea who this is. That's probably fine. Ron was like an old hippie dude that had done probably a lot of acid and in his younger life, and so he was kind of just a hippie dude, you know. And not that I have anything against hippies. I'm just saying that's probably what it was. So, anyways, so I'm watching this guy, and I'm literally standing right next to him, just kind of I'm doing my best Norm impersonation, and so I'm basically like sitting there, and unfortunately, there's a customer way in the back, and so I had to go help him, and so this guy was just waiting on me to leave. So as soon as I walked away, I saw Ron was up at the front. I'm like, all right, we got somebody covering the front. The guy picks up a mini Revo and just bolts out the door, and that was pretty much the last time that that we decided to leave all that stuff out. That was kind of the end of it. Do I have the screws in stock that close up the bottom access door of the ET42 diff? I'm sure we do. I'd have to look them up, but we pretty much got every screw available on the planet from ProTech. So if they're 3mm or 2mm, I can't remember what they are, but I think they're 3. I'm sure we got them. Anyways, we're doing. We were going to work on RC cars tonight. Dang it! I'm trying to think what else has a 4x7 bearing. So I'm in the process of building that Enduro and making a video of it. And that's about as far as I've gotten. Brand new Enduro. Emerson and I are going to have our own crawlers, which is really good. I'm excited for that. Got myself a Brat body for it. I hope it fits. Kind of suck if it didn't. So, well, what are we at? An hour? Getting close. I'm probably going to call it good here in about 3 minutes. Just make it an hour show tonight, as I have to be back at the Plex tomorrow to fill in some holes Friday morning and throw some water on the track before Family Friday off-road so that it's ready to go for Saturday speed and our final triple scoop. I actually have to go buy some Dairy Queen gift certificates tomorrow. I hope they have them. Jackson Emerson is not going to race tomorrow. Emerson finally got his grades up high enough to where we've allowed him to buy his lizard. So he is getting a bearded dragon tomorrow. And I asked him if he wanted to come race, and he's like, dude, I'm getting my bearded dragon tomorrow. So more than likely he's going to have his bearded dragon, and he's going to have he'll be sitting there staring at it all night, I guess. So no racing for the kiddo. He's getting his dragon. He got his grades are good, so he's getting what he wanted. Yeah, John, we totally will. He's really excited about it. He's I can't wait till they get bigger. I'm always afraid of them. I'm afraid of them being so small because we had what are those? They're not salamanders. They were oh gosh, what's the little? They're not fish, but they're little guys, little amphibians that have the little thingies. I can't remember the name of them now. Oh well, it doesn't matter. No, it's not a gecko. It was oh jeez, I gotta look it up. Anyways, we killed him. Like they were doing great, and he was keeping the tank clean. And for some reason, we came home one day and they were both upside down, floating in the tank. So I just, I don't know. I mean, I killed a lot of animals when I was a kid on accident. I chopped the nose off a rat once on accident. And then the other rat ate it, which was really traumatizing. I had a kitten once. So when I was a kid, we had lots of animals around all the time, and they were never spayed or neutered. So our girl cats would always have kittens. And this one cute little kitten had crawled all the way up the stairs and into my room. And I was like, oh, you want to snuggle? And I was like 12. And so I had this cute little kitten. And I remember remember it was all cuddled up, and I'm sitting there going, "Oh, cute little kitten." And then the next morning, I felt a lump underneath of my butt, and it dawned on me what that lump was, and that was a bad day because I killed a kitten by suffocating it with my ass. So it's pretty terrible. So yeah. So I don't know. I mean, it's, you know, I just don't want her to kill it. That's all. I just don't want to have him traumatized the same way that I was when I was a kid. I had this is gonna sound bad, but I had told my neighbor not to take her cat inside my house because at the time we had we had a black lab, and the black lab was clearly trained as like a hunter dog, right? And it really did not like cats. Like, it would attack a cat. And we also had an English bulldog, who's the sweetest thing ever. I've never seen it be aggressive ever in my life, right? This Alice, girl bulldog, sweetheart, right? You could do anything you wanted to, or like you could like poke her with pins and stuff. She wouldn't give a crap. Well, this neighbor girl up the street had a cat named Smokey, and for some reason she thought it was okay to not do what I said and open up the door where my black lab Jerry was inside. And Jerry saw a cat, immediately grabbed the cat, and then at the same time, Alice was like, "Hell yeah, we're killing cats today, cool." And so she had one end of the cat, and Jerry had the other end of the cat, and they were pulling this cat apart. And I'm sitting there like, "Oh my god, no, no, no!" And so I'm trying to like get my fingers in Jerry's, jaw to open it up. And I finally got Jerry to release the cat. And then Alice is like, "Oh crap, they don't want us to eat cats today." And so it let go of the cat, and the poor cat like took off. And then we found it dead like an hour later. It was so bad. Such a terrible day. So that's 2 cats that have been viciously killed or whatever in my household when I was younger. So, yeah. Yep. That's why we don't have dogs, even though I want a dog, but I can't have a dog. All right. What time is it? It's time for me to go. I'm gonna go, and I'll just bring this back to work tomorrow and grab a 4x7 bearing for $1.30 and call it good. So if you're if you're in the Omaha area, go ahead and come check out the Plex this weekend. We're racing tomorrow night. We're racing Saturday. We're racing Dirt Oval on Sunday. They're having their final race, and yeah. So if not, HobbyPlex show podcast will be back Monday. I'm actually going on vacation in 2 weeks, so there won't be a show April 5th, I think, is that Monday. A podcast. There won't be a podcast April 5th. But we got some cool guests coming up, man. I'm excited. Will's lining up the guests. We're starting to do guests again. So I can't say who it is right now, but it's going to be a good one. Probably won't want to miss it if you're interested in two-wheel drive buggies from Associated. So yeah, I'll try to do my best to post races this weekend and get them up. So thanks for tuning in. I think at one time we had like 31, 32 viewers. So still haven't hit that 50 yet, but maybe one of these times we will. So I will catch you guys at some point. Thanks for watching. I'm signing off.